Hey, what's up? So I haven't done any videos for a while, and I have some free time, so I'm going to go ahead and make videos that I've been meaning to make for a while. One of the first things I'm going to discuss is my New York trip, and on this particular video I'm going to discuss my great times with airport security. So I talked to one of my friends who's a flight attendant, and I said, you know, I've had my name changed. Is this going to affect anything with security-wise? She's like, it's going to automatically red flag you for 2 years. So I'm like, okay, at least I know this going in. So we go in, and it's, you know, my mom, my dad, me, my sister, and her boyfriend. And so I'm the last one to go through security. And I'm pretty sure I've taken everything out of my pocket except for my medicine spoon. Because, well, I don't want to put that through the scanner because they could call it a weapon or whatever. My logic just said it was best to keep it in my pocket because it's not going to set anything off. Well, my dumbass forgets to take my pack of tobacco out of my pocket. So I go through the metal detector and I beep. And so he's like, you know, sir, do you have anything on you that's metal? And I pat myself down. I'm like, oh shit, here you go. So he puts that on the tray and sends it through the x-ray machine. Then he pats me down and he feels my spoon in my pocket. And he's like, sir, what's that? And so I kind of, you know, this nervous giggle, and he kind of looks at me a little weird. And so I'm pulling it out, and I'm like, look, here's the deal. I'm a trans guy. This is what I have to use to go to the bathroom. And he just kind of like, what? Looks at me all funny, and he like grabs it with his gloved hand, and he's like being all 2-year-oldish, like holding it way out here, like, ew. And I mean, I get that that's what I use it for, but I clean it. Anyway. So he takes it off to his little groupies over here, and they all start giggling and laughing and pointing, and I'm like, oh, whatever. And I'm not worried about that. You know, I expected that. But I got a pretty good kick out of watching my mom standing over here watching this whole situation go down, getting redder and redder and madder by the minute. Because I don't have the balls to you to my mother. So when other people assist me by creating situations to do so, I don't mind. So he comes back and he gives me back my spoon, and so I put it, and he tells me I can go, so I put it in my pocket, and we get on the airplane, we stop off somewhere, and then we have a layover somewhere in Maryland, I forget where. It's a 4-hour layover. So I expected to be hassled by airport security, so I left my backpack and everything with my dad. The only thing I took out to go smoke with me was my MP3 player, my wallet, my boarding pass, my tobacco, and my lighter. So I go outside and I smoke a couple cigarettes, and it's time to come back in. And my mom happens to be standing like right in front of security check-in as I go in. And I'm like, oh, this will be fun. So, you know, I put everything in the thing and I go through the metal detector and I don't go off. And because I was red flagged, the guy said, one of the security guys said, sir, I'm going to need you to step this way. And I look, sure, okay. And so I look up, and you know those big x-ray, whole body x-ray things that are creating quite the stir with privacy issues or whatever, is standing right in front of me. And I'm like, oh, shit. Because I've got my strips on, and I've got my pissin' packer. And I'm like, this is going to get real entertaining real quick. So he's like, sir, I'm going to need you to step in here. So I step in there, and it, whoop, whatever, and then you turn 90 degrees, and it, whoop, and then you step out. And my mom is standing here getting pretty red and embarrassed by this point, even though nobody else in there knows that she's in any way connected to me. I thought that was really funny. If she would relax a little bit. But anyway, I digress. So he's like, sir, I'm going to need you to step in. We're going to need to step into a room to discuss some things. I was like, sure, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you that you may want to grab a female. I don't care either way, but depending on where this goes, you may not get what you expect. And she kind of looks at me all jacked up, and he's like, okay. And I said, to be honest, we really don't even have to go into a room. This can all be handled right here. And he was like, sure. So they take me into this little semi-curtained off partition thing. I mean, the curtains are yay high. It's not that private by any means. But anyway, so he's like, he pats me down. He's like, sir, what is this I feel in your chest? And I explained to him that I just had some surgery done, and that this is for, you know, to help the scars heal. And so he's like, well, I'm going to need you to remove them. So I remove them, and they put them through the bomb sniffing machine, whatever. because it's the exact same density, or very similar density to C4. So I understood that. So he brought him back to me, and I put him back on. He's like, and there's one other problem, and I start laughing because this is about to get real funny real quick. And so he's like, sir, there's something in this region that appears detached. I started playing with him a little bit. I just kind of looked at him and was like, whatever are you talking about? You know, I was like, what do you mean, dude? What's detached? And he's like, well, there seems to be... Here, come look at this, and shows me the picture. And I said, oh, okay. He's like, we need to go into a room to handle this. And I said, we don't have to, but the rest of your customers might be a little confused when I pull out my junk and set it on your table. At this point, he's just really lost. So I just, I pull my underwear up a little bit and unvelcro it and pull it out and slap it down on the table, and he's just shocked shitless that I just slapped a dick with a tube in it on his table. And so he picks it up with his gloved hands, and he's like, and what is this? I was like, I'm a trans guy. This is what I use to complete my appearance, and also what I use to go to the bathroom. There's a tube through it and this spoon. I mean, you can imagine what this is for, right? And he's like, yeah, okay. So I figure I'm done, right? Then the dude goes, sir, I'm gonna need to see your ID real quick. Sure. So I hand him my ID, and he looks over, and he's like, sir, this says this is a female's ID. And I said, right. I just explained to you I'm a trans guy. I was born female. He's like, well, let me see your boarding pass. So I give him my boarding pass, and it, of course, says Tyler on it. And he's like, your ID says female, but you have a male name. And I just stood there looking at him. And so he takes it off and goes to discuss with somebody I'm assuming was higher up than him. And he comes back, and he's just kind of all confused like, and he's like, here, and don't forget that. And so, I grab it, stuff it back down in my pants, no big deal. So I'm pretty amused by this whole situation, and it gets even better because as soon as I come out of this little curtain thing, my mom is redder and madder than I had ever seen her in my entire life. And proceeds to tell me all about, you see the difficulty you've made for yourself, blah, 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 blah. This wouldn't have happened if you would have just staged you the way you were supposed to be. I mean, just going off. And I've just had several cigarettes, so I'm nice and calm. I just got done royally mind-fucking some idiots. So I'm just like, I'm just going to sit here and listen to this because you're mad for no reason. Rock and roll. So, anyway, that's that for airport security. I'm going to make another video talking about the rest of my trip, so I'll catch y'all there. Bye.